Eric Adams is now being sued by different segments in New York in order to ensure that he keeps his budget in place for the things that they originally set the budget for. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is your boy Eric Adams and what he's currently going through.
New York City's teachers union is suing Mayor Eric Adams over his budget proposal, slashing the education budget by a whopping $547 million in order to pay for migrants.
The lawsuit says this
$500 million just for the New York City education budget, has also on top of that sanitation, also on top of that police officers. So literally they're slashing billions from the budget in order to make sure that they support migrants. This is what's being alleged.
This will, quote, have a far-reaching and devastating impact on teachers and New York City children. Outkick host Tommy Lahren joins me now. Okay, it's a Democrat mayor versus a very, very Democrat teachers union. Seems like this migrant crisis is really exposing some huge cracks in the Democrat foundation. Right, Tommy?
Yeah, well, you've heard the expression, the snake eating its own tail, and that's exactly what we have here yet again. I never thought I'd agree with the teachers union, but I certainly do in this instance. It just goes to show that elections have consequences, and I'm not just talking about Mayor Eric Adams. I'm talking about Democrats that are put in positions of power, especially way at the top in the Biden administration with Joe Biden himself and what he's done to our southern border, if you can even call it a border at this point. I'm not sure that name fits, but the illegal immigration in this country, when it's topping millions of people, tens of thousands a week, this is simply unsustainable. And this teachers union, they have a point here. They're saying you're slashing budgets, not only for schools, by the way, but also for NYPD and other important areas. They're saying, listen, you're slashing our budgets, but we've got all of these children that we now have to educate, so we need more money. It just goes to show that while simply throwing money at the problem isn't going to solve it, there's not enough money in these big blue sanctuary cities to take care of the problem that these big blue sanctuary cities have created. So the snake eating its own tail, and unfortunately, this is just the beginning. It's going to come home to roost, and it's going to hit real hard, probably in the next several months to couple of years.
Well,
I think that it's going to be much, much worse than that. I think because, okay, the number one thing that you don't cut, two things that you don't cut, of all the things that you can possibly cut, two things that you don't cut is budget with regard to safety, police, and education. The three most important things to a city, as far as the basic foundation for a city to be able to thrive, is people have to feel safe. If you don't feel safe, those that have resources and money is going to get the hell up out of there. That's number one. Number two, they want to have a place where they can raise a family. So safety and education are at the top of the list, because if they feel as though your kid can't thrive in the environment that they're looking to move to, they're less likely going to take a position, even if they get recruited by a great company to come there, because at the forefront of most people's agenda is the thing that means the most to them, and that's their children and their money. Okay? Two of the three things that you do not take away from is education and safety. Now, New York is in a catch-22 also because they have to allocate more monies over to educating more children, because a lot of these children, A, don't even speak English, and B, they're a part of the asylum seekers, basically illegal immigration, that we've documented earlier in this show, that they basically said that they are, what did they call it? Exodus of poverty or something like that. Shout out to the AP accountability partner. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly, and I appreciate you for continuing to rock out with me. But my point is that there is no long-term solution. And so I'm always trying to figure it out. And as a C student, I know I'm slow, and I know it takes me a little bit longer to catch it. And I'm going to figure it out. But at first I was thinking, well, maybe they just replacing us as a voter block, or they replacing black people because a lot of black people are starting to wake up and they're making decisions that's in their best interest, not just based off of what their parents told them to vote like. But then I was just thinking to myself, like, that can't be true. It can't be right, right? Because you can't. Are black people or people that vote liberal and women so bad at doing the thing that's in their own best interest that they're willing to basically shoot themselves in the foot in order to continue to support something just to say that they voted Democrat. Because you still have to bank on that. You still have to, even if they replaced you as a voter class, it's not enough people that you can get in because you still got to depend on these people to get educated to vote and then to vote for you, right? So let's say that they replace you with a new voter class that's basically made up of migrants, all right? You still have to maintain a lot of your base in order to still maintain power. And so considering that the people that are going to be affected the most are people that they like to identify as of color, and then those that are in poverty stricken. And so the haves, the slightly haves, right? The nots, and the ones that voted to keep you in office in the first place, if they're the ones that's going to be the most affected, how is this a strategy that's going to work? And so I'm still confused because that would mean that they're banking on you to still be voluntarily ignorant, even though you know, listen, your pockets is messed up. You got student loans and debt that they never forgave. You're overeducated. You're still not making the money that you think you need to make. You can't afford to buy a house. Your kids is under duress. Child support ain't enough. And housing is still going to cost you more than you can afford to live there, but you're going to have to live in van life or move in with an auntie or uncle. And are you telling me that you're still going to vote the same? Are you still going to be dependent on voting the same way? And your children are going to be sitting next to somebody that don't even know English and falling behind because they don't have a rigorous curriculum that pushes them to be prepared for college? You see what I'm saying? Like, why would people suffer through the worst thing for themselves just to support rich politicians that's in bed with Republicans anyway and creating policies that's not best for you only for them to be able to maintain power? I don't understand it. It would be very much dependent on your ignorance in order for them to still maintain power.
Well, Tommy, speaking of New York, there's new Census Bureau numbers, and they show a full-on blue state exodus. New York lost the most, over 100,000 residents in 2023, more than any other state. California came in second with over 7.
I had a guy that came on the platform, remember last week? I think it was last Friday, and he said, Anton, people are moving away from Florida. No, they're moving away from California, New York, and Chicago. They see it happening, and these are the biggest sanctuary states and cities, and they're moving to your city, and they're turning it blue. Remember the guy that said that he lived in Tennessee, but he still voted Democrat, even though Tennessee is thriving? And Nashville?
75,000 residents leaving, and Illinois is in third place with over 30,000 residents leaving. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik said this about this exodus. With record crime and cost of living far beyond the national average, New York's mass exodus is far from over. What do you think about this?
Let me back up for a minute. Eric Adams just did an interview where they saying that he said that everything is on the table as far as New York's $12 billion budget deficit. $12 billion budget deficit, and he's saying that everything is on the table.
Eric Adams, George, person fall down, file a report, and it has to do with their age, their gender, their sex, their race. If they keep doing all this paperwork, how are they going to fight crime?
And it's really frightening when you think about it. You have a missing child. You go and speak with people. Do you know this child we're trying to find? Each interaction, 1,000 over the 2 years that I've been here. We did it by allowing our police officers to do their job.
Studios is right down the street from a migrant shelter. And every day you go by, there are hundreds of scooters and mostly scooters. And it's led to a sort of a rash of crime around the broadcast center. But the question is, why are these scooters allowed to be there? There are no license plates, and we don't even know whether these people have a license to drive them. Is there a way to crack down on it? Should there be a way to crack down on it?
Why is her voice so deep, and why is her mouth so stiff? I don't care about scooters. I want to get to a better part.
We've created
So there's hundreds that are still there.
exactly. And
Every single shelter.
we've created this national problem has created a black market of employment. Remember, the migrants and asylum seekers weren't able to work. They can't work legally, and so it has created this underground market that is really dangerous to the infrastructure of our city. And the scooters you see is a reflection of that. Now, each time we go in to remove those that are unlicensed, some of them are stolen, some of them are being used for crimes. Every time we remove them, there's this revolving door system that's in place.
But they don't even
Wait. You telling me that migrants are stealing and robbing of scooters so that they can make wages at a lower rate and undermine the American economy, not pay taxes, and still thrive within New York City? And the only thing that he can tell me is that there's a revolving door? How did this guy get elected? Honestly, how did this guy get elected?
even have a license to drive them. How is that allowed? How are they allowed to be on the street? And why aren't the police stopping them to see if they have a license?
No, they are. 13,000, I said. But you can't stop someone that's not, if there's no license plates on, then you can take action. But if they have a license plates on, if they're following the laws, you're not going to stop them just to be stopping them. But what we have been doing, we have been focusing.
That ain't what Texas said. Texas said everybody can stop anybody who's suspected of being an illegal migrant. Greg Abbott said the whole state need to be on red alert. If you suspected of crossing over this border illegally, we're going to make sure that we vet you properly, and we're going to make sure that we check your license plate. We're going to check your Don't they run your plate and find out whether or not it's a stolen vehicle? That ain't what they did in my hood in Detroit. They know immediately whether or not you stole that vehicle. I'm sorry, sir. Just step out the vehicle. You don't need my license? No. You have a tag on this car that is not showing that you even renewed your license tag, your license plate. You got wrong license plate tags on this car, but my car not stolen. But the plate, sir, step out the car, put your hands on the hood, make sure you keep your hands above your head. What the fuck are we? I mean, I'm sorry. Shout out to the church. I didn't, forgive me, Lord. I have sinned. What are we doing? Shout out to the daycares.
Some of these locations, looking at the VIN numbers, looking at their illegal, and we've been removing them off the street. But Marsha, that's just a byproduct of the crises that the national government has created in the city of New York.
Oh, he blaming it on Biden now.
That's what I'm trying to say to the people of the New York. People look at the mayor and they say, Mayor, how's you letting this happen? I went to Washington 10 times.
Yeah, not before you said that, hey, we are a sanctuary city. I remember. Hold on, you're not going to finesse me, Eric. I remember. Eric, sanctuary city speech. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me see something.
You know, and I think of as we celebrated the birth of Jesus, he was faced with a no more room, but there was a place that was found. And that's what we're doing. We have no more room, but we're still finding spaces and accommodating. And we're going to continue to do that. That is our law, that is our obligation, and that is what's morally right. We're going to do that. But what we're not going to do is.
Let me see something. Hold on. Cause see, you're not gonna gaslight me with an interview that you think that we not paying attention to. I need to see what's happening out here in these streets.
Mayor Eric Adams says his administration.
New York City, the war of words between these politicians, they continue here today, and immigration lawyers saying that it is a shame that these migrants, they are stuck right in the middle. Mayor Eric Adams now saying that New York City is preparing for possibly getting 50 to 100 migrants here in the city each day.
I think that the Governor Abbott's, what he's doing is just so inhumane.
Mayor Eric Adams today standing by his word that New York City, which is a shelter city, welcomes all asylum seekers with open arms.
This is a place where the Statue of Liberty sits in the harbor, and we say, bring us your tired. Those who are yearning to be free. That's what these asylum seekers are doing. And I don't think anything is more anti-American than shipping people on a bus.
This comes after two buses.
Bring us your tired. I got a whole bunch of videos that I just pulled up of him basically saying, we're going to remain a sanctuary city. Bring us your tired. Bring us your broken. Send them over to New York. Send them over to New York. This is basically what he's been saying the entire time. So you was with it and now you against it because you don't think that you're going to get elected and the people are starting to hold you accountable.
Busloads of migrants seeking refuge were shipped to New York City over the weekend from Texas.
Look, they had greetings. They was clapping when they came through.
Little warning. Many people, including Adams, greeted them.
Refugees, welcome here.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
See that? He was there. He was shaking his head. He was at the protest. Yeah, come on in. Come on in. Come on, Clevis. And now he's sitting here pivoting, about face.
And got nothing.
Exactly. But something did come out of the trip. We're now building a coalition. Now you see the Chicago mayor. Excuse me, the Denver mayor.
Yeah, the old man sneeze. He had that old man, because it wasn't just a, it was a, listen, when they sneeze like that, they going through something. When they sneeze like that, like this, they going through something.
See the Chicago mayor.
I'm so stupid and petty. Ignore me. Let's focus on the facts. Let's not focus on the things that don't matter. Let's focus on the facts. We're not going to focus on that old man sneeze. He is an older gentleman, so.
The Denver mayor, Massachusetts governor. Now, what I was alone talking about this, now you're seeing a real outcry across the country.
But it seems like the president doesn't do anything. He doesn't hear your cry. And that's very frustrating, I'm sure, for
Biden said, I don't know you. Depart from me. I never knew you. You can't even call my phone. You keep coming to the White House if you want to. You ain't going to meet with me. Biden was in the back looking at the cameras like, this mother effer going to keep on coming over to the White House. Like, you think you going to come in here? He sent his advisor in there. He said, hey, man, tell them to get on up out of my office. Get on up out of my office, bro. Biden was in the back like, are they gone yet?
for you, but also for the lawmakers like Senator Schumer and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who are unable to deliver for the state they represent.
And the state that they love. They love New York City, two Brooklyn guys. They don't want to see this happening. When I met with them, they too are frustrated. Listen, I'm angry, and New Yorkers are angry.
Yeah.
And the polls are reflecting the toll of this, of what I have gone through with this real crisis. It's a humanitarian crisis.
But while we're talking about your poll numbers, which are very low, here's the thing. So you've had to take some really hard budget cuts.
Yes.
You want to cut cops and fire and libraries and education. And I have asked you before, why not consider some tax hikes? So, for example, instead of saying, tax hikes are bad, let's talk about some of the things you might.
No. Listen. The solution is not more taxes. I'm telling y'all, not only are they going to put them in your schools, New York is the highest taxes in the entire country. They have the highest taxes in the entire country. And so they want to talk about taxing you more. Okay.
Be able to do. What about appealing the tax breaks that like colleges like NYU and Columbia, nonprofits, museums, churches, synagogues, they are among the 10 largest landlords in New York. They own billions of dollars worth of property. You could get millions of dollars of taxes from them. Why not do it?
And let me be clear on this. Everything is on the table.
Oh,
Everything is
Jesus.
on the table.
You're going to consider. You're thinking about taxing them.
I'm thinking about everything is on the table. If we're taking library hours away, if we're having our city agencies have to find efficiencies inside, which is traumatizing for my commissioners who dedicate their lives to these initiatives, Marsha, everything is on the table. I need to get clear to New Yorkers. We have a $12 billion hole.
That you created.
$12 billion hole.
You created.
We can't, this is not sustainable. And even if you, let's say you raise taxes and we continue to get almost 3,000 migrants a week, we're going to keep raising taxes more and more and more. You know, eventually.
That's not sustainable either.
That's what I'm trying to share with you. That's what the federal government has placed us into.
But here's the other thing, though.
Yes.
Given the fact that people say, oh, my God, we're not going to be safe because you're going to cut cops. And, oh, my God, we're not going to be safe because you're going to cut fire, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's other things you could do. Like you could raise fees. Like why don't you raise the fee for going through a red light or going through a speed camera zone? These are things that you could do. Is that
what is wrong with these people? This is incompetency at the highest level. Honestly, my 14, 15-year-old daughter can do a much, much better job than what we see happening playing out right now. Real talk. Much better job than what we see playing out right now. The incompetence is amazing. And so what their solution is not, listen, instead of solution being close off the borders, they're basically telling you, no, let's just raise taxes, fees, cut more, and continue to let migrants come in. You have the most migrants in a caravan that is walking basically to the United States of America, and nobody is actually making any adjustments. Everybody is just saying, hey, let's just play it however we've been playing it, and we're not going to worry about it going forward. That's what he's saying.
on the table too?
I cannot be any clearer.
Let me read more taxes because I want to get you. I'm going to rope you in. Hotel
clearer.
Occupancy tax, mansion tax, mortgage recording tax, stock transfer tax, tax the rich. They're all on the table.
So listen, some of the taxes that you're talking about are under control of Albany.
But you can ask the governor to do it.
Right. And what I said, the governor and I met a few days ago, and we're both on the same page with the frustration that's coming out of D.C., the destabilization that is taking place in the city. Look at where we were in January 1st, 2022, Marsha, and what we were experiencing. We were hemorrhaging jobs. Crime was surging. No one wanted to be on the subway system. We turned all that around in 2 years. More private sector jobs in the history of the city. Millions of people back on the subway.
The crisis is overshadowing all of that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And it's preventing you from taking a victory lap for all the things you've accomplished.
Right, and that's what we should. This interview right now should be an interview about this guy, little Brooklyn guy from South.
Nobody takes accountability. Everybody just want to give themselves credit.
Jamaica, Queens, turned around the city in 2 years when people told me it was going to take 4 years.
Yeah,
and now because of this migrant crisis, it has given a different narrative to this administration.
Are you angry at the president?
Listen, I'm angry at Washington.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Biden and Cam is watching you. You watch your mouth. You stutter when you talk about you. Be careful how you mention them. Listen, y'all know they got that FBI investigation going on with Eric Adams. Yeah, y'all forgot about that. See, I don't forget about anything. I'm paying attention to everything. You know they got that FBI investigation going on with them. That was a warning. Hey, you don't want to play ball? You want to keep talking tough? You know they got that FBI investigation out on your ass. As soon as you started traveling to Washington, they said, all right, okay, I'm going to have you playing basketball in Pelican Bay. I'm going to have you playing basketball in Pelican Bay. Look at this response.
Decision.
Yeah,
And
but
now,
now
because
you-
of this
but-
migrant crisis, it has given a different narrative to this administration.
Are you angry at the president?
Listen, I'm angry at Washington.
I'm angry at Washington. The Congress members, just the whole system needs to be redone. I wouldn't be surprised if if he wound up saying, "Hey, listen, this started before Biden even became president."
Administration.
Are you angry at the president?
Listen, I'm angry at Washington.
Boy, if you don't kiss the ring, kiss the ring. What you thought that you was going to be speaking freely? Think about what you say before you say it. I have to send Cam down in New York to make some adjustments, get an attitude adjustment up in this B. I wish I could say the real word. I wish we was on Anton Daniels' channel. Get an attitude adjustment up in this B.
See, because the Republicans there are not doing real immigration reforms. We're not.
Now he wanted to do it on the Republicans. You sucker. Man, if y'all don't get this whole corrupt system up out of here, ain't nobody thinking, Republicans ain't got nothing to do with the fact that y'all got y'all borders open. Good God. That's the very thing that they ran on, and then y'all distracted them and said, Black Lives Matters. Black Lives Matters.
The resources that we need. I think FEMA should do more. We need to call a state of emergency in this city with this humanitarian crisis. And so I'm angry at a process in Washington, D.C. that's impacting the economic engine of the country. That's what New York City is.
It's a
Should Biden
process.
be the president? Should he be the nominee of the Democratic Party next time?
I support President Biden. I said it more than once. I don't have to agree everything that someone is doing. I know what the alternatives are.
It's the ring.
They do not look good for the
Is he
people
the
of the
best
city.
person to run against what looks like the nominee
Putting that pressure on him. Scarecrow is putting that pressure on that boy.
of the Republican Party, Donald Trump?
I think he is. I think he's the best person to run against him.
Can he beat him?
I think he can. I believe that we have to have a course correct. We've underestimated the impact of the migrant.
This is not the interview that I thought that I needed, but it's definitely the one that I wanted. I didn't know that this is the interview was going to go the way that it's going, but I've never seen a black man toe the line and be very, very careful on who. Boy, Biden going to have you playing basketball in Pelican Bay. Say my name. Say my name. Biden.
An asylum seeker issue that's impacting major cities in this country.
So the Senate is going to stay in session next week, because they want to do a package that would provide aid to the Ukraine, but also do something about migrants. Are you at all hopeful that you'll be able to get some kind of a bill that will do the decompression that you're looking for from the government?
My conversation with Senator Schumer understands how severe this is.
We don't want to hear none of that. You got a lawsuit against you from a chick from 1983, 1992 that said that you was touching on her waist. You got a FBI investigation that's all on your ass. They raiding the houses of your campaign finance managers. They pulling all of your boy. Better watch what you say. EA Sports, Eric Adams.